Hey everyone, it's That Guy In Hutch, Jason Probst, and you're listening to That Podcast in Hutch. Today I had a special group of people in. I had Keith Gable, who's the coach of and sponsor of the Allen STEM Magnet KidWind Team, and I also had Milo Miller and Clayton Hatfield in. They're two members of the Whirlwinds team as part of the KidWind team. These kids are in fourth grade, and they came in today and they talked about joules and gear ratios and drive shafts, all these like really technical terms about the parts that go into developing a wind turbine. And they're part of this team, and I've seen this before at Allen over the years. For the last 5 years, they've been part of this, and you'll hear this in the conversation. But they have been prolific at Allen about winning these competitions in the KidWind contest, which the kids go, they build wind turbines, they run them in a wind tunnel, and they try to generate as much power as they can from them. And then if they win at the state level or the regional level, they go to the state level. And if they win at the state level, they go to the world level. And Allen has two teams this year, one of them being the Whirlwinds, who won the state level competition. And they'll be participating in the World KidWind Challenge in Madison, Wisconsin from May 17th to 20th. And it's really a big deal. And I wanted to take the chance to talk to these boys about the work they've done to get here and their coach and the work he's put into getting them here. It's really fascinating. I know there's a lot of conversations out there about what's happening with kids and what's happening in education. But for me, I really, did you find that way too, Chris?
Yeah, they were just so knowledgeable and excited. And I think back when I was in fourth grade, I was not putting together wind turbines and talking about gear ratios.
Nor was I.
And it was great to hear them talk about their experiences in the competitions and their excitement going into Worlds. It seems like the kids are all right.
Yeah, it really did. And to hear the process of, I think one thing, and I've read some things about this lately about how we've created a culture where we're afraid to fail. We don't allow people to fail, and we don't allow kids to fail. But clearly in this process, failure is part of the process, and the kids talk about that and how that helped them learn how to get better.
Yeah, they talk about iteration. And trying new things and trying ideas and not being afraid of those ideas not working, and then gathering data about those ideas and seeing, okay, what works best and getting the data behind that. And yeah,
it was great to have them in. I wanted to make sure and have them in to talk about this experience because I thought it was really neat to showcase some kids doing this work. But another reason is that they are trying to raise money. This trip isn't free. It's not paid for by anyone. It's not paid for by the district. And so these kids are having to raise their own money to go on this trip. And some of the information from Keith, the coach, indicates that the expected cost is going to be around $15,000 for everybody to go up here to the KidWind contest in Wisconsin. So I'm going to provide in the show notes some information about how you can help. And I hope that they're doing a GoFundMe, and there's a QR code for that. We'll include all that information, but make sure you check out the Allen STEM KidWind Facebook page. There'll be some information there. You can also go to kidwind.org. But they also, like I said, they also have their own GoFundMe, and I'll put that information out there. If you can, make sure and help these kids out. I think it's really important to support academic achievement. We support a lot of things, and I think, we're a sports-oriented culture kind of, so we give a lot of credibility to that, and we really get together and cheer, and that's all well and good. But there are kids out here doing really technically smart things, and they're winning contests, and they're excelling, and this is an opportunity for us to celebrate that too.
Yeah, I think of the boosters clubs and the bake sales that we do for. Historically, that's a thing you do to raise money to buy your basketball team's jerseys or your cross country team shoes or whatever they need, and let's get that same energy behind the Whirlwinds.
Yeah.
get them, they're going to Worlds. That's a big deal. And it's not a one or the other thing. It's let's support both.
It's all part of it.
Yeah.
I think you're going to love this, listening to this story. These kids are adorable. They're talking about their experience. You can hear that they're excited and they're curious and they're learning and they're doing big things. And I think you're really going to enjoy hearing from Clayton and Milo and their coach, Keith. I have with me today two members of the Whirlwinds team, the fourth grade team from Allen STEM Magnet School in USD 308. I've got Clayton Hatfield and Milo Miller. Guys, thanks for coming in today.
I'm Milo Miller.
I'm Clayton Hatfield.
I should also mention I have your coach here today too, right? Keith Gable.
Hello, I'm Keith Gable.
But mostly I'm interested in what you guys have to say about what you did. So do I have this right? You guys just won the state competition for fourth grade in the Kansas KidWinds contest. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah. It's a program where you design like a wind turbine that is not quite handheld, but kind of good, tall, and you put it in a wind tunnel. And you try to see how much energy you can pull out. Okay.
And they create wind with a big fan. I've seen enough of this before to see they do a big fan to blow the wind over the wind turbine. And if you're designing, you're trying to generate as much electricity as possible, right?
Yes.
So how do you come up with a design for a wind turbine? Aren't they all the same?
No. We designed most of our parts in Tinkercad. We 3D printed them.
Okay.
Some of our parts, our drive shaft, that's made out of aluminum, and we get those off of Amazon. Mm-hmm. We also make our base out of PVC pipe, and so that way it's sturdy.
About how tall is your? You said about, for the people who can't see at home, we're about this tall, but I'm going to say that's probably about what, 3.5 foot tall, maybe something like that. So you're about yay high, which we think is like 3.5 foot tall, maybe. Can you kind of describe your turbine? Like how many blades is it? Does it look like a normal wind turbine? I think I have some pictures to see but how do you decide what you want your turbine to look like?
Mostly more blades to catch more wind. Uh-huh. So you'll get more joules. That's the energy output. So we came up with 6 blades to catch more wind, and so probably to produce more joules.
What's a joule?
That's the energy output.
Okay. So how do you measure how? Okay, so a joule is a measure of energy output, and what does that? I guess how many joules did yours generate?
Our highest, I think, was 34.82.
Okay.
No.
How does that translate into? I mean, I know this is pretty small that you're doing a competition, but what's a measure of power that I could compare it to? Is it like a small light bulb? Could I power a small light bulb with that, or something like that?
Pretty much a small LED diode. You'd probably be able to power with it. Not much from it.
Okay. So when you design these, you came up with 6 blades. How do you, how does that conversation start? What is I'm real curious about process. So you start with nothing. How do you come up with what you think is going to work best, and how do you test that, and then maybe reconfigure your wind turbine? By the time you get to competition, you really want that thing dialed in, right? Mm-hmm. So talk about that a little bit. How's that conversation start about what design you want to pursue?
Well, we have this notebook where we kind of sketch our ideas down, and we kind of test them one by one, and whichever one works best, we end up using.
Are you testing smaller models? You talked about 3D printing some some parts, do you test like a smaller model before you go full scale?
Yeah, we make prototypes.
Okay. And then from that you kind of get a sense of like, oh, these are parts that we like and these are parts we don't like.
Yeah.
And then change those, right?
Yes.
Do you kind of go back and do research on what other people have done before to see what like previous teams won with?
Most times we just like look around at our competition and see like all the different ranges and types of turbines, and then like see how they do in the tunnels.
Okay. So you kind of watch and see what's happening around you, right? Yeah. And then as a team, do you collectively kind of, like somebody has an idea and you're like, oh, I like that idea, but what if we add this to it? Are those kind of conversations happening?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
Yes.
And then this is part of, Allen is a STEM school, so the science and technology.
Yeah.
Do you guys do you do math calculations and all this?
Yes, we use math to figure out our gear ratio.
Okay. Wow, this is going to get pretty technical here in a minute. So tell me about that. What are you trying to figure out? Like, walk me through that part. I'm thinking just it's a turbine, but how do you generate the electricity? Tell me how you in your machine, you're turning wind that's turning a blade that then is turning something else that generates electricity. How does that work?
So it's mostly from the drive shaft directly from the blades. There's a gear, and then it'll probably go to another gear with a smaller gear on it. So you want the gears, so the bigger one you want to turn slower, and then the one below it to turn faster. And then the generator gear, we want to turn really fast.
Because that's where the power is generated.
Yes.
Okay. So you're trying to capture the power from a slow-moving gear.
Object, yeah.
Or an object like the blades. And you're trying to accelerate that faster and faster so that by the time you get to the generator, the part that's generating electricity, it's going really fast. And that's where the power is generated. So when you're doing these, you're experimenting quite a bit then, right?
Yeah.
To try to figure out what gear ratios are going to work. Do you have any trade secrets you can give away, or you're going to keep those all secret? Like, what's your gear ratio?
Our old one for state was, I think, 71-8.
Okay. So what does that mean? For every 8 turns of the big blade, you're getting 78 revolutions by the time you get to the generator? Okay. So that's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you happy with that when you got to that level?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you trying to improve that for the next competition?
Yeah.
Which we should talk about too. So, right. So you do this at school. Is there a building-wide competition first? Maybe the coach can talk about this.
I'll be happy to talk about that. Well, we started the program 5 years ago with 3 teams, 15 kids, a couple weeks before. And that kind of started our journey on to going to nationals and participating in all events. The school-wide we started with, we've had about 40 to 50 kids every year come out. And so they're 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. So what we did this year, we had 45 kids. We had 12 teams. That was the most teams we've ever started with. And we had a school-wide competition in December, and we took the top 2 teams from each division, and then we moved them on to regionals. Well, those teams from each division won regionals and took 2nd place. So we took 4 teams to state this year. So first time ever we swept 1st and 2nd. All of our teams moved on to state. Wow. And then out of those 4 teams, we ended up with 6 awards, and 2 of them won their division. So we're taking 2 teams to Worlds in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And the World is in Madison, Wisconsin.
It is in Madison, Wisconsin, right? Sure.
And that is a bigger competition, right? And it's called Worlds because there are teams from other countries. You guys were talking earlier. What other countries are represented at the World competition?
There are some from Taiwan, Mexico, and Thailand.
Oh, wow. So tougher competition.
Definitely.
So what are you doing now to get ready for that? Are you trying to, don't give away any secrets or anything, but what are you doing? Are you working on your blade design? Are you working on your gear ratios? What are you trying to do to make sure you're ready for this? Because it's coming up pretty quick.
Kind of, I guess, like redesigning a lot of different things, like especially the blades and gears.
Okay.
going to say, do you want to tell them what is going to be different at Worlds that you guys have to design for? Because in the past, they only have to have a wind turbine that just is stationary. So what are you having to do at Worlds that's different, that you're redesigning?
Oh yeah, there's a new challenge called the yaw tunnel, and what that does is that it'll turn the turbine like sideways, and then you have to figure out how to get it right back to turn around, and then to get as much electricity as possible.
So the yaw is the left and right turn on as it stands on the tower, and they're going to blow it in a way that turns your turbine so the blades aren't facing the wind necessarily.
Yep.
And you have to design an element to get it to turn back into the wind, so that you generate the most electricity facing the wind, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about going to Worlds?
We feel pretty excited, and soon maybe we'll feel prepared.
But yeah, I mean, it is exciting, right? Yeah.
A little overwhelming right now.
Well, I'm
It's
sure.
a lot of new stuff for them.
Yeah. Is it so there's like I imagine there's new set of rules at World?
A few new rules in the competition. They have the presentation to the judges, so that bumps up a couple more minutes. So they'll have about 10 to 15 minutes, and then instant challenges. They'll have 2 that they'll have to do. At state, they had to create their own wind turbine in 30 minutes and make their own blades with the parts given to them. And then they were put into a tunnel that ran up to 10 meters per second, which is extremely fast for elementary students.
They'll have to, so at that level, they have to create it there on the spot. They don't have to just make it and bring it.
No.
Is World going to be that way also?
Worlds, they'll be making it on the spot. They'll have 30 to 45 minutes in their 2 instant challenges. In the past, they've had things where they've had to create a wind turbine that would pump water. They've had one where they had to create electrical circuits. They had to make the different electrical circuits and tie it to, at one time, I believe it was a solar house, if I remember correctly, a couple of years ago. So anything's a possibility. We don't know what the challenge is going to be until they show up in the room.
Yeah, and you have to be ready for whatever. And that kind of gets to your ability to kind of engineer a problem, right? I mean, that basically you're going to be presented with a problem, and then you have to engineer your way out of that problem, right? Yeah. I was going to ask you, the Allen is kind of a powerhouse in this, though, right? Like you guys send you've been good in this competition before.
We've been very lucky. I mean, our first year we went to the competition. They were the youngest team that moved on 5 years ago, and it just so happened the gentleman who created KidWind was here in Kansas at the state, and they finished 4th. And they were so young, he's like, hey, we don't have any elementary teams. Would you be willing to come? And when we first got the invite, we're like, oh, you guys sent it to the wrong team. It's not us. We were 4th place. And they invited us, and they did extremely well. Obviously, they won it. So we won our first big event was that, because they hadn't won regionals. They didn't win state because they were 4th graders going against 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
Yeah.
And then the following year, they went on and just swept everything. They won state against, again, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders as 5th graders. And then the following year, they did it again, and they went to Worlds, but they got bumped up to the middle school level because they were 6th graders.
Yeah.
And they did well. They didn't bring anything back. So we've sent 3 times, and now we're sending 2 more. So this will be our 5th time going to Worlds. And we were talking about how lucky that is. We don't expect to happen all the time, but we've just, I think it's Allen. It's who we are. It's the engineer design process, and I think that process prepares them for these challenges more than anything.
When you talk about that engineer design process, do they talk to you guys about that a lot? What does that mean to you?
It is a process of what you do when you're designing something. The first step is ask, like, what you think you're going to do for the problem. The next is ideas, some ideas for, you're going to sketch out some ideas for the problem and what you think, and then the next step is plan, and then you're going to choose the best, idea from the idea step, and the next is create. That's when you actually build it, and then it's evaluate and see what you could have maybe done better.
And then when you figure out, if you do figure out something that you could do better, then do you go back kind of to the beginning of that process and rebuild?
Yeah, it's all
Yes.
kind of like a loop.
Yeah, like a loop system, right? So how did you guys get into this? Is it something that your teacher talks to you about in the class, or is it a different sort of program? You go around. Are you their teacher?
I'm actually their teacher this year, so yeah.
So it's kind of baked
I'm
in,
a
right?
little biased with these two, yeah. We get to talk about it quite often during the day, but no, it started with that group, and then it's primarily 4th, 5th, and 6th graders for us here, and they kind of all get to see it, and we promote it a little bit and go out and talk to them. We show off kind of at assemblies that, hey, here's what they've done. Here's how they've, each competition where they placed, and we share it. In fact, fundraising for Worlds, the school helped out recently. We did some popcorn sales, and all the students sold popcorn for us. And so they helped raise some money for us to get to Worlds. So
it really is a school.
It is a
community
school-wide.
thing, right?
Without the school, I don't think KidWind would be what it is today, and the teachers there that help promote it and give us the time and the opportunity to work with these kids and let them play. I mean, really, it's figuring it out on their own.
Yeah, which is so important, right? I mean, just that when you're talking about this, being able to test and think about what you want to do and come up with ideas and plans and then test them, that feels so valuable to be able to do that. Well, you mentioned fundraising, and I'll talk about this later too, but you guys are raising some money, right? Because it's not as if the school's not necessarily paying for you to go. The school body is supportive, but it's not like the school is paying for you to go to Worlds, right? So you have to raise some money. Is that right?
Yes.
And how are you doing that?
Well, we've done a couple different things. We have a GoFundMe account that we set up that we are raising money for. We also, any donations that come to the school or go to our PTO or the school district for us. We did the popcorn sales last week, and then I think the one the school is going to be the most excited about is next week we're doing a tattoo a teacher.
Oh!
So one of the teachers talked to me about a month ago, just this idea, hey, if you need to raise funds, why don't you do a tattoo a teacher? And I go, what are you talking about? So temporary tattoos. So the kids are going to be able to buy tattoos, pick the teachers they want, the teachers that are participating. And so they're going to have 3 days to buy tattoos. And then on our field day next Friday, the teachers, we're going to come to school all tattooed up. And then it's a little extra, though, if they want us to put them on our face.
Oh, yeah.
So and then if we raise a certain amount of money, I guess I get to be slimed along with the other two coaches at the end of field day. So the school's pretty excited about that. We announced that today.
Are you guys working on getting him slimed?
Probably not yet because we just got the flyer.
Next week, right?
I love that. Tattoo a teacher. And then I'll share some information about your GoFundMe, but they can also bring any payments to the school.
Bring
or
it to
get a
the
hold of
school.
somebody with the PTO, and we'll get that information too, so people can have that. I'm just real curious about I don't know, what talk to me in general about kind of the science and technology and engineering and math part of your education and at school. Like, this is a big part of what they do at Allen, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just talk to me about how that looks in the classroom.
It's just like mostly our everyday stuff like math and science and all of that. But in KidWind, we do a lot more than what we would do in our class. Mm-hmm. It's like actually designing stuff. Yeah,
but that's probably more fun when you get to actually turn it into something, right? Mm-hmm. Or does it help connect? I know for me, it's always better if I can connect the math to the real world application of something, right? Do you guys want to be engineers when you get older, or you want to work in fields like this, or maybe design something?
Yeah, it's probably, made me pretty interested.
Do you find that there are other problems that you kind of apply that are not necessarily like a project like this, but like other times that you encounter problems and then you use this process to kind of work your way through them? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess that's the hope, right?
That's what we hope, and that's what we try to do each and every day, no matter if it's in the classroom or a situation on the playground, they process it and they figure it out. And that's the best part of being there at Allen as the teacher, is to see that being worked out and like, oh, we could do it this way. No, I don't know if that's going to work. I think that's the question that comes up often. Hey, Mr. Gable, is this going to work? I go, I don't know. Why don't you figure it out?
Yeah, you have to test it.
Yeah.
Yeah, plan it out and test it. What other fun projects have you worked on?
We're doing a unit in science called PLTW. Right now we are working to build a windmill out of these parts that are coming out of these kits.
Okay.
They're just plastic, not anything special, but we can also use cardboard and other materials to build them.
Nice. What does PLTW stand for?
Project Lead the Way.
Okay.
So it's a program that we're starting up this year, back up at Allen this year, and then next year everybody will have it in our building as part of the science curriculum.
Okay, nice. And is it project-based? It's kind of like a project-based learning model?
They get a little bit of learning some different things. And another one that we're doing is light waves. And so they're learning some different things about waves. And so in the end, they'll be creating a game with lights.
Nice.
So they get the knowledge up front, and then they have to kind of figure out, how do we get it?
How do we make this work? Yeah. Nice. This will be right towards the end of school year too, right? This is probably a good way to end the school year. Trip to Madison.
Yeah.
Doing a big thing, right? How does that make you feel that you won this competition? You're going to go do this. You feel pretty big about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
When you won, what was your reaction when you won this Kansas competition?
I was really surprised, and I ended up banging my hands on the table.
Because you were not sure if you would win?
Yeah.
So you kind of yeah. That's funny. And how about you?
I don't know. I just let's go. We
Yeah,
won.
you go. And then did you go straight to work? You went straight to work on getting ready for Worlds, right? Pretty much.
Probably a little more celebration. But
Yeah, a little more celebration.
Yeah.
That's good. Did you do anything when you got back home? Well, where was the competition?
Salina.
Salina. Okay. So what did you do when you got home to celebrate?
Well, we didn't really celebrate at home. We went to a go-kart place to celebrate in Salina.
In Salina. Okay.
Yes.
What did you guys do?
We went.
Well, you
with
went
him.
too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the whole team
The whole
went.
team
I think
went.
the
Okay.
three of them went.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, that feels good to be able to say, hey, we did something hard. Now we get to enjoy this downtime, right? It's good. Can I ask some other questions about just you guys in general?
Sure.
Just goofy questions?
Yeah.
All right. You have siblings?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Sister, brother, older, younger?
Yeah, 2 younger ones. My sister and brother.
Okay. And then you have a sister,
Yes.
right?
Younger sister.
Y'all get along with them?
No.
Oh, both of you, neither one of you gets
Not at
along
all,
with them. All right. Most annoying thing about your siblings?
Oh, no.
No.
I guess she thinks she's the boss all the time. So
Oh.
the younger one.
Probably my baby brother just cries and screams a lot.
Yeah, that's what baby brothers do. What's your favorite thing about your siblings?
She's she's close to my age, so I can roughhouse with her and play with her a little bit more than I can if she was a toddler.
Yeah.
Probably teaching my baby brother new things,
Yeah.
like soccer and yeah.
How about foods? What's your favorite food?
Definitely sushi.
Sushi?
Yeah.
Real sushi or California roll sushi?
Real sushi.
Okay. You eat the raw fish?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I like steak a lot.
I like both of those foods quite a lot. How do you like your steak? Bloody?
Medium rare.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
That's the right answer.
That's right. Well done is best. Yeah, in my opinion. Let's see. Aside from this, favorite hobbies?
Probably playing outside.
Yeah.
Just doing
Just doing
different
anything?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's sports,
Sports? What kind of sports?
soccer and football.
Okay. Do you play some of those now?
Yes, I'm close to ending my soccer season.
Okay. I don't know much about soccer, but what position? Are you defense, offense?
I'm usually a winger, so that means I'm outside, like near the touchline most of the time.
Yep.
I play defense and offense.
Okay. So yeah, you're kind of on the outside, usually pushing the ball, out that way. Let's see. Aside from Mr. Gable's class, aside from this, favorite topics. You like math and engineering, clearly. So what other topics do you like? Or subjects, I guess.
English language arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the same here.
Both of you, English arts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything that you want to do when you're in Madison after the competition is over? Have you started to look to see what's available in Madison, Wisconsin?
Not exactly that, but I'm looking forward to the hotel and everything in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably has a pool, I'm
Yes.
guessing, right?
Yes, we made sure there's a pool.
You have to have a pool.
We made sure there's a pool. We have to have something to do after we get done.
I mean, I'd like to at least look at the outside of the Green Bay Packers Stadium, but that's pretty far away from Madison.
Yeah, because that's, it's in Green Bay.
We had
right?
another day.
Yeah.
Oh,
the drive.
How many days will you be up there?
We're going to leave on Saturday, and we're going to our goal is to be back about 2 hours before dismissal on the last day of school.
Oh, wow.
On Thursday.
Yeah. Right? Are other students like, they get out of school the last week? Or are you missing the last week of school? Because
Yeah.
usually the last week of school is not too shabby. It's usually a lot of fun,
Yeah.
right?
It's kind of like a balance, but
Yeah.
you gotta have some fun on both sides.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So you're fourth grade, so you've got a couple more years of doing this. You plan on
Yeah.
doing this more years?
Definitely.
Yeah. When you get older, do you think, will part of your role be helping younger students like you?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch
Maybe.
of possibilities.
Yeah. You could be doing any number of things, right?
Yeah.
Does this program continue into high school?
Yeah, it's actually a 4 through 12 program. So
Okay.
when we go to Worlds, there's going to be high school teams there, middle school teams, and elementary teams. And that's what's so neat about the program is the boys will go up and talk to a middle school team or a high school team. I can't remember if your team was or one of the other teams went and sat for like 30 minutes talking to one of the high school teams, and they were giving them pointers. And so the spirit of KidWind is helping each other and just trying to make it better and more fun and see what they can come up with for their best possible output. So it's really neat to see how they interact with all the other teams, no matter what the age is.
Yeah. But they get that benefit of talking to some of these other older kids who've
Yep.
done this for a while.
And then the older kids get the benefit of some of the companies coming in and coming and talk to them about, hey, if you're really interested, what would it look like as a career after high school?
Yeah.
Or in college, And this year we're not with the college program, but in the past years there's a college program that they have to write grants and all these proposals to be able to participate, and it's really neat to see it. And so we've had it where the college teams have come down to talk to the kids and interact with them.
Oh,
so just the
nice.
program, we in our building K6 we talk about it, but only the 4 through 6th graders get to participate. But then when you go to the events 4 through 12, and just everybody working together just to make it more fun and enjoyable for everybody. So it's really neat to see.
And I'm glad you brought that up about, so there are some companies that do support this, because the idea is that you can get kids interested in this and you can get them, thinking about working in these careers and kind of priming their minds for that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about what your experience is like watching these kids do this sort of thing.
It's almost a blessing because you give them some information and you let them go. And then they decide, do they want to do it that way or do they not? And so we'll sit and tinker, and I'll tinker with them and help them build things. But ultimately, they're the ones, they make the final decision and go and build it. You talk about them winning state. We had 2 teams, never would I imagine, the other team, because I know how hard the middle school competition is.
Yeah.
I think, not that I don't think they deserve winning. It was like, wow, they won state. How did they win state? This group too, they know it. There was hard competition, and it's like, wow, we did something amazing. And just to sit back and to see that is so fun. Sometimes words don't describe your feelings with it, because it's like something we started 2 weeks before, like, let's give this a try. And now it's turned into, like you said, this amazing thing that we're doing well every year. So everybody's always looking for us and wanting to know how we're doing. And, and that's kind of why we created a Facebook page, because we reach out to other people, and we have, an amazing parent that takes so many pictures, and we post them and share. And so throughout the state, we keep in touch and just share those. And again, we share what have we created and how can they make it better. And we've seen a lot of turbines look similar or get even bigger and better. And that's the thing. And in our program, one thing that I was asked about was, you talked about blades. And we have a whole box of blades now after 5 years. They have to create them every year. They can't reuse unless they're their own blades. They can't reuse them. So we have a whole box of blades, of old blades that they can test out. You talk about testing, running things out, and they figure it out. Then they have to build their own. We've had teams that take little skinny blades and they go to the competition. We have teams with big blades. And we were asked, well, why don't you just have your kids always use big blades? It's not my turbine.
Yeah.
They tested it, and there are seriously some, if they have the smaller blades, it works better than with bigger blades. Well, that's due to your weight and where your center of gravity is. And so we talk about those things. And I was like, okay, if that's what's best, you go with it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the fun part. They asked, and again, I said, there's a couple teams go, hey, Mr. Gable, I think this will work. And my response is, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that idea. Like, how is that's interesting because you as a teacher have to let them fail.
Yeah.
In some ways, right? I'm sure there are times where they're trying something and you know it's not going to, like, you've got the experience, you've worked with other students, and you know it's not going to work. You made a sound. You have an example of this, right?
At competition one time, so our base only goes back, and there's nothing really ahead of the turbine where the wind's coming in. And so we were just testing not testing, we were in the competition tunnel, and so we were thinking maybe to turn it around, and that would possibly get higher joules. But when we turned it around, because there's no front part of it, it just flew into the fans. So, I mean, nothing bad really happened. We just shut it off, and
But that's a great example. They hadn't tried it before.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we've already felt we've gotten our best run. Let's try something new to see if it'll be better. And it turned around. It just fell over, and it's like, okay, why did it fall? Oh, balance.
Yeah.
Okay, now we know.
So then, and once you learn that through that process, that's probably, you incorporate that into all your future. That's part of your knowledge base at that point, right? And then you incorporate that into all your future designs, because you know that's going to work or not going to work. But for you as a teacher, you have to let that happen.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You let it happen, and then you talk to them and say, okay, why did this happen? What could we do? So, and that's the hardest part for any teacher and parents. One thing that came up for the team that won the nationals the first 2 years, they came up to us one day, and I'll never forget this. Hey, Mr. Gable, why are those parents doing those things for those kids? And I said, I don't know. They go, well, they're not going to do well because they don't know what they're doing. And so the team really felt bad for the other team, because they're like, hey, those kids don't know what's going to happen because somebody's doing it for them. And, that moment right there was like, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. They just automatically understood the why behind the questioning that we've always done with the kids.
Yeah, because you won't be able to continue to get better if you don't learn the information, right? Were there other big moments where you something worked, then you thought it would work and it worked maybe just like you thought it would, or better than you thought it would, or another time where you had something happen that it didn't work out the way you thought?
So there were just all the time we're testing and running, so it's kind of hard to keep a whole thing But if I could look back in our book, I could see all the different runs. But
So you keep a log of everything,
Yeah.
right? Of everything you do. You keep a record of it.
I just can't remember it from
Yeah.
in the back of my head.
But that's an important part of things.
I would say our teams that have done the best are the ones that have kept their book. We always go over that with the kids. One of the first things we talked about, hey, where's your notebook? Where are your notes? Go back and look. And I can almost guarantee every team that's done really well has a pretty solid notebook.
Kept their notes on everything.
Has their engineer design notebook.
Do you guys, when you do your ideas, you really, how are those conversations happening? I think I asked a little bit of this before, but do those moments ever get tense where you're like, oh, that's a good idea, or that's not a good idea, or how do those discussions happen?
Well, usually one of us comes up with an idea, and the two others are like, no, that's not going to work because of da-da-da, and this too. And so we end up just trying out a version of it, and if it works or doesn't work, we try out the full version.
So you do, like, you push through and test those ideas and then
Yeah.
and then decide whether they work or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you really don't know if it's going to work or not.
Yeah.
Like, there are some good points, but, like, you can always try.
Yeah. And you can't stay in the theoretical all the time. At some point you have to take the idea and turn it into action.
Yeah, because when they run the turbines, at the state and local level, they get 5-minute runs and 3-minute runs. But when we go to Worlds, they'll get 3 attempts of 30 seconds.
Okay.
So they have to really, you're talking about, okay, let's get it dialed in. That's what they do leading up to Worlds. So that notebook helps. Like, okay, this angle worked best at this speed. This angle worked better when it was running faster or slower.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things we've hopefully drilled into them to understand that, hey, if you want to be better, there you go. Go through it for those things.
At state, you generated how many joules?
38.82.
Okay, so it was over 38 joules?
Yeah.
Yes, we got very close to 40.
Oh, wow.
They were hoping for that 40.
Uh-huh. Do you have a goal for Worlds that you're trying to reach?
Yeah, probably, like, around 60, actually.
Really?
To like, get it up there so we can hopefully win.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60's the normal level. So if we can just get above that a little, then I think we'd
Okay.
be really pretty good.
Good shot.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing some prototyping now? Changing, like getting ready for that?
Yes, we
Playing
have.
with your blades and your ratios and everything?
You want to tell them what you did with your drive shaft?
Yeah, so we have a smaller drive shaft that we use for state, and now, like, it was kind of, it's a different material, and it's kind of like, it'll wobble a little bit, so we got actually bigger ones that are stronger and, like, metal, and
Okay.
so it won't, like, it has a lower chance of snapping.
Okay. Did you have a drive shaft snap?
No, we just want to be careful of
Do
that.
you lose energy in the wobble? I would think that you would, just based on what I know about
Yep.
cycling.
Yeah.
If you have a wobbly wheel, you're losing
Yeah.
energy to that. Anything that's not going directly into the power generation is power loss, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys, I'm really excited for what you're doing. I've watched this a couple of times with Allen, and it's always fun. But you guys going to World, feels like a very big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are your parents responding to that?
Yeah, excited.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Kind of like us.
Yeah.
Yes, they're very excited.
Yeah. Also, you get to go to Wisconsin.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's been a long journey. In fact, today we just had an assembly and we gave them their certificates for state, and we're counting up 6 months. So they'll be, by the time we're done, 7 months they've been working on it this year.
Wow.
So that's a long process for them. Many revisions, versions of their turbines, and
Yeah.
so it's really cool to see how it's grown from December, where they're little mini one, to how they've 3D printed and designed things and gotten bigger. And
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're here. Getting ready to go do the big contest.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you all for coming in today. Unless there's anything else you want to say, or anything to talk about?
No, just thank you for letting us talk about KidWind and getting out to the community.
Yeah, no, it's very good. It's a good program. It's good to, I don't know, I'm always really excited about it. And you guys, I mean, you come in here and you're using words I don't know, and I'm like, gear ratios and joules, and I'm swimming in words, and I'm thinking maybe I should go back to school.
I'll be honest, some days they're over my head, all of the kids. So I'm just blessed to be there to help guide them.
Well, thanks for the work you do to guide them. And you guys, good luck.
Thanks.
Everybody's going to be pulling for you. The whole town's going to be pulling for you.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Thank you. If you find the content that we're producing useful, helpful, compelling, interesting, entertaining, or just a good part of your day at all, please consider following us at thatguyinhutch.com or liking and reviewing us on Apple and Spotify. I want to thank a few of my friends who are really important to the podcast. Jenny Burgett designed my logo for me. My son Mitchell has written the intro music. And of course, Christopher Acker sits in the studio with me every week and makes me sound good.
A Salt City Sound production.